Welcome to the first video of my Imagine series. In this series, I will be taking a character from any game and imagining a moveset for them in Smash Ultimate. As you saw in the title, today, I will be showing you a concept I came up with for Shadow the Hedgehog. I will be treating Shadow as if he joined Smash Ultimate as a Fighter's Pass character, so he'll be bringing other things along with just his moveset. One more thing here, everything is just what I personally think Shadow should have in his moveset. Feel free to agree or disagree, and leave a comment at the end of the video sharing anything you would have liked to see or change in my concept. And with all that out of the way, let's get into it. Alright, so Shadow the Hedgehog, who is he? Let's take a quick look here. Shadow is an immortal being created by Professor Gerald Robotnik, who is the grandfather of Eggman. He was created as the ultimate life form through genetic engineering with the help of some DNA from Black Doom, and he is the end result of Project Shadow. Shadow's purpose was to develop a cure for a deadly illness. More specifically, Shadow's purpose was to develop a cure for an illness that Professor Robotnik's granddaughter Maria had. Unfortunately, after some time, Shadow was deemed as a threat and was put into status by the military, known as GUN, Gun. Maria tried to protect Shadow as this was happening, but Gun killed Maria in the process. 50 years later, Eggman came across Project Shadow and released him in an attempt to conquer the world. Shadow agreed to work with Eggman, but secretly sought to destroy the planet in order to avenge Maria on his own. He carried on with this plan for a little while until he was eventually persuaded to save the world after learning about Gerald Robotnik's plan to destroy it. After Shadow saved the world, he lost his memory, and his only desire became to find out who he was and what was his purpose. During this adventure of self-discovery, Shadow met Black Doom and the Black Arms, and after some time, learned that Black Doom also wanted to see the world come to an end, and he ended up saving it again, regaining his memories in the process. After that, Shadow lived to fill out Maria's dying wish, which was to protect the planet, bring hope to humanity, and give humans a chance to live happily. I could go way deeper into it, but Shadow has an amazing story if you ask me. I want to go over one more thing before we hop into the moveset here, and that being his personality. Shadow is always on edge emotionally. He's very arrogant and confident in his abilities, and he has an extremely strong sense of purpose. He's always willing to accomplish his goal through any means necessary, and that's one of the reasons why he's so powerful. Shadow is one of the most powerful characters in the entire Sonic universe, so I think that should be reflected in Smash Bros. I think he should bring all those powers in. He should be a force to be reckoned with. Now, let's hop into the moveset. Shadow would have his regular appearance as he usually is in his games, and would be the exact same size as Sonic. Shadow would be a little bit slower than Sonic, but not much at all, and at the same time be a little bit stronger than Sonic, as this is reflected in some of the games. Just one more thing here. He will run with his rocket shoes. Sometimes in the new games, Shadow runs like a regular person, and that just looks weird. He'll skate with his hover shoes, as he should. Anyways, as I mentioned earlier, Shadow is very big on his feelings and his state of mind, so I thought it'd be fun to incorporate this into his moveset. I decided to give Shadow a gimmick, and that would be placing two gauges or bars at the bottom of the screen that fills up, similar to how Clouds or Jokers look. The first bar is a red bar, and this is to charge up his Chaos Blast ability, which is a Chaos Explosion that Shadow can create. Shadow would fill up his gauge by receiving damage. It makes sense in my head, in a way, because Shadow could get angry by taking damage. Now, I understand that actually having Chaos Blast to its full effect would be very overpowered, so for Smash, I think it'd be a good idea to reduce it. When the gauge fills up, Shadow will start glowing red, and he will grunt and say, "Death to all who oppose me," just as he does as Shadow the Hedgehog. The bar will then start to slowly go down, just as it does in its game, and that's how long he'll have to use it. Let's say for Smash, about 15 seconds. When Shadow presses B, he'll perform Chaos Blast, letting out a shockwave of chaos energy, killing at low percents, maybe similar to Wario's Waft. The radius will be about maybe 2 times the Shadow size, and will have a lot of end lag. Now for the other gauge, it will be for Chaos Control. It would be a blue bar next to his red one, and it would fill up as Shadow deals damage to his opponents, that being when Shadow is in good and happy state of mind. I had a couple ideas for what the Chaos Control move could do. Shadow could maybe freeze his opponent quickly for a pre-hit, or possibly slow them down like Witch Time in Smash 4. Those ideas sounded great thinking about them, but for Smash, again, I think that would be very overpowered. What I decided to go with was just a speed buff, let's say about 15 seconds, just like Blast. Shadow would speed up so much that he'd be the fastest character in the game with nobody being close to matching him. Just to clear things up, Chaos Control will not give him a power buff or anything else, strictly speed. And I might be going off the rails a little bit here, but I wanted to give Shadow a bonus gimmick. If a player somehow manages to get both gauges filled at the same time, they will be given the opportunity to press both A and B together to become Chaos Shadow. Chaos Shadow is very different than Super Shadow. When this move is used, Shadow will remove both restraints on his wrists and transform into the Chaos state. During this time, which is, again, 15 seconds, Shadow will be given both an incredible speed and power buff, becoming a very scary foe to fight against. All his attacks will be quick and kill very early, but this comes with a downside. After the 15 seconds are up, Shadow will lose his energy and immediately die. He will just faint and lose his stock. We've been seeing him lose his energy before and fainting after being in this state, and because this is such an incredible buff, it has a big downside to it. And I know that's a lot, but that's it for the gimmicks. I personally think it'd be pretty cool for Shadow to have. Let's get right into his moves now. Shadow's jab will be the exact same jab that he has in Sonic Battle, being 1 punch and 2 kicks. In battle, he ends this with a little Chaos Blast. That will not be present in Smash, just the 3 strikes. Shadow's forward tilt will be the fire roll he has in Adventure 2. He obtains this move by getting the Flame Ring on Radical Highway, and I think it'd be pretty cool to implement, especially with Adventure 2 being a crucial game for Shadow. This roll will be slow as it is in the game, and it would kill at higher percentages. Nothing too special about this move. For Shadow's up tilt, he will perform an upwards kick, like one of the kicks from his jab, but more on an upwards angle. His down tilt will be a low-angled kick, with his rocket shoes spewing out some flames. I know this isn't the best clip to use, but this resembles what I'm thinking the most. Just ignore the dash. This attack would have decent range and could possibly set up for a tech chase. Shadow's up air will be a quick phase upwards with a hitbox. This is a movement type move he has in battle, and in that game, Shadow moves horizontally. Just imagine it going it a little bit upwards. It would maybe shoot him as far as K. Rool's up air does, not nearly as far as he can go in his game, but he would just phase upwards a little bit and have a hitbox to it. Now, his down air is a bit interesting for me. It's exactly like Sonic's down air, but get this, it's a move he has from Sonic Battle. It seems like Sakurai took this move from Shadow and put it in Sonic's moveset, except they just changed it up a tad. Shadow doesn't disappear, and that move should function just like Sonic's down air in Smash, because I don't think having Shadow disappearing during this move would be a very good idea for Smash Ultimate. Look at Sakurai on top of things, already on the ball with this move here. Shadow's forward air will be a homing attack. This won't be like Sonic's neutral B as it is in Smash. Shadow will just continue his momentum and perform a longer lasting hitbox with a yellow streak behind him. Kinda how he does it in Shadow the Hedgehog in this clip or Adventure 2, even in Heroes 2. This would be on the weaker side of his moves, but enough to get your opponent off of you. Just imagine this, but he continues to move in one direction with a hitbox. Shadow's back air is pretty fun in my eyes. It will be a shoulder check like one of the cutscenes from Shadow the Hedgehog. This will launch at a downwards angle, but not spike. Kinda like this. It will be one of the moves that launches foes on an awkward angle, and there's one more catch to this move. When Shadow uses the back air at low percents, his momentum in the air will slow drastically so he can perform it as he does in this cutscene. Once he reaches, let's say, 60%, maybe that could be discussed to change a little bit, he won't be able to stop his momentum because, let's be real here, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Moving on, there's nothing too special about Shadow's neutral air. It'll be the same as Sonic's. Shadow just curls up into a ball and spins a little bit around him. He has some pretty unique moves, but he still has to be similar to Sonic in some ways at least, right? His grab will also be the same as Sonic's. Same range and animation, except his pummel will be a punch, perhaps a karate chop, but I decided to go with a punch instead of a knee that Sonic does. Shadow's up throw will be similar to Fox's. He will whip the opponent up and shoot him, but the gun Shadow will be using is the flash shot from Shadow the Hedgehog. His down throw will be the same as Sonic's, just like his couple other things I just mentioned, just throwing him down and spinning on his opponent, launching them forwards. For Shadow's forward throw, it'll be a karate chop, just sending the opponent forward. This throw doesn't have a lot of knockback, so will potentially lead for a follow-up. And for the final throw, back throw. Shadow's back throw will be a duck and kick, just like he did to Silver in this cutscene. The opponent will move in slow motion to the effect of Chaos Control, and Shadow would just kick them from behind. It would also have a low amount of knockback, and again, possibly setting up for a tech chase. Moving on from the throws, Shadow's dash attack will be the same as Sonic's, but with a little extra. Flames would come out of his shoots, perhaps giving him a little bit extra range and damage, not much though. Now, let's get into the smash attacks, starting with his forward smash. Shadow's forward smash will be a move from Sonic Battle. It'll be a backhand with a Chaos Blast at his fist. This would have a sweet spot where the blast is and be a very strong kill move. I was thinking about making the move launch the opponents upwards to get a good feel from Sonic Battle, but I think it'd be best if the foe was launched in the same kind of direction as where they came into contact with the move. So sometimes a player could get launched upwards if they happen to land on top of the move. You know what I mean? If they get hit from the side of the move, they would go sideways. Kinda like that. Shadow's down smash will be a Chaos Blast on both sides of him, just like the end of his jab in Sonic Battle. This, like forward smash, would have a lot of kill power. For Shadow's up smash, he'll perform the Black Tornado. This is a move from Sonic Heroes, and it will have quite a bit of startup, but then Shadow will spin and create a Black Tornado, shooting any opponent upwards who get caught in it. This would be his strongest smash attack. Of course, the range would be drastically reduced. We can't have it be as big as it is in Sonic Heroes. Let's move on to his specials. Shadow's up special would be Chaos Control. He would teleport, and this move would function almost exactly like Mewtwo's, but have a couple extra properties to it. If you are performing the move and attempting to land on a platform going downwards, if you sweet spot the ground at the exact distance you teleported from, you will have no end leg and be free to attack. On top of that, this move won't put Shadow into freefall because Chaos controls one of Shadow's most reliable abilities, and I think it should be a very strong move in his arsenal. And that brings us to the down special, and this will be the same as Sonic's, nothing crazy unique to it. Shadow performed the spin charge. This would function, again, the exact same as Sonic's, but be a tad slower and a tad more powerful. Not really enough to notice a difference though. Shadow's side special will be his Mind Shock move from Sonic Battle. Shadow will stay in one spot and create an explosion. This will be kind of like Palutina's move, but function differently. When you hold side B, Shadow will start thinking, and the longer the player lets him think, the further explosion will go. Let's say it could go almost the distance of Final Destination, maybe about 75% or 80% of it. This won't really be a kill move, but it will launch your opponent upwards, just as it does in Sonic Battle. And finally, for Shadow's neutral B, he will be using the famous Chaos Spear. I thought this movie pretty cool if you charged it up, and it would have 3 stages. For the first stage, B is just basically just tapping B twice. Shadow would throw a weak but quick single spear straight forward. For the second stage, he will throw 3 spears, doing more damage at knockback. And for the final fully charged stage, Shadow will scatter spears quickly and it'll be one devastating hit to a foe. One more thing about this, if Shadow performs this in the air, the move will go down diagonally instead of horizontally. This would fit the move as he performs it in the games well, in my opinion. And lastly, for Shadow's final smash, it'll be exactly what you expect, Super Shadow, and it would function just about the same as Sonic's. Sorry if this is a little bit of a letdown, but I pretty much use everything you could use in Shadow's actual moveset. Super Shadow's the only thing left out. Now let's go over a couple things that aren't really part of his moveset but still worth creating, starting with the taunts.
Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald?
Just kidding, but how funny would that be? His first taunt could just be him crossing his arms and saying, just like he does after completing a level in Heroes. His second taunt will be what he does after completing a level in Shadow the Hedgehog. He would pose like that with an emerald, but he could really say anything. I would just have him pose like that and grunt. And for his final taunt, it will have Sonic falling down with Shadow behind him like this scene from the opening. This is my favorite one, and it could totally be done. It reminds me of a cooler version of Piranha Plants. You could totally go the meme route making his taunts, but I know Sakurai probably wouldn't do that with Shadow. You could put things like,
Faker, I think you're the fake hedgehog around here.
Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald? This is just too easy. Guess it's my lucky day.
I see, but you know, I can't let you live. Your days are coming to an end.
but I'm trying to come up with an actual moveset here, so we'll stick with the original 3. And while I'm on the topic, you could use any of Shadow's victory poses from the games into his winning screen for Smash. I like the one where Sonic falls the best, to be honest, so that'll be the main one I'll pick here. Now, while I am very capable of doing video editing, Photoshop isn't exactly my cup of tea. So instead of coming up with color redesigns for Shadow, I thought of a couple different alts he could have to play as in Smash. The first being one of the metal Shadow androids that are playable in Shadow the Hedgehog multiplayer. Another alt could be how he appears in Sonic Riders, and a third being a recolor of Rouge because those two are always closely tied together. Other than that, his alts would just be other colors as most characters have. You could maybe make them represent other characters like a Sonic alt or a Maria alt, Black Doom alt, anything like that really. Now, because we're treating Shadow as if he's a DLC Fighters Pass inclusion, he will come with a stage. I originally thought about making it Westopolis because you play that level over and over and over again when playing Shadow's game, but I personally thought the most iconic pick would be the Space Colony Arc and the areas surrounding it. This would be one of those stages where a platform would bring you to different parts of the stage and drop you off for a little bit, and there will be 4 parts to this. The first part of the stage would just be in space, and you could begin on the moving platform. Eventually the players will be brought back inside looking down onto Earth. No hazards would be here, but there would be a floor on the whole area. Eventually the platform would come back, let's say after about 30 or 45 seconds, and bring you through a tunnel out into space. This part of the stage will be quick because it's the long strip where Sonic and Shadow had their final battle in Adventure 2. In that level, Sonic and Shadow are running and fighting at the same time while the platforms fall apart from behind them. We'll turn that platform horizontally and it will fall apart from right to left until about the last quarter is left. Then, the moving platform will come back and continue its route into space. The whole process would take about 20 seconds, so you wouldn't spend much time here at all. The platform would then bring the players back inside to where Shadow had one of the final battles with the Bio-Lizard. Like Banjo's stage, the stage would then turn and the players would have to dodge the Bio-Lizard's tail and mouth, as well as a couple energy shots. There would also be a couple gaps where the players would have to jump, just like Shadow has to do in battle. After the stage makes a 360, taking another, let's say 45 seconds, the Bio-Lizard will then disappear and the moving platform will come back to pick up the players, bringing them to the final part of the stage, that being outside of the Space Colony Arc as the Bio-Lizard is dragging it down to Earth. Players would remain on the moving platform the entire time, but will have to deal with all the Bio-Lizard's attacks as they battle it out. The Bio-Lizard would release the energy balls seen in the game and fire the 2 lasers at the same time here and there. It would just mix up in between that. Maybe it could be random. This part of the stage would again take 45 seconds until the moving platform brings the players back to the first part of the stage, starting the process all over again. For the Battlefield Omega version of the stage, everything I just talked about would be purely scenic. Everything would still happen in the background, but it would have no effect on the stage, and the moving platform would never drop you, kind of like a few stages we have already, such as maybe Mario Circuit. One last thing about the stage here, it would have an Easter egg. Similar to Palutena's guidance, if you're using Shadow on the stage and hold the taunt button down for 1 frame, Doom's Eye will come in and give you information about your opponent. He would give you advice, just as he does in the Shadow the Hedgehog game, and again, just like Palutena's guidance, there would be something different for every character. After all, Doom was secretly in all of this while the space colony battles were happening. I wanted to incorporate him in some way. And that does it with the stage. I wanted to incorporate SA2 into this game big time because I know that's Shadow's first big game. It really deserves the recognition in my opinion. Now we're heading towards the end of the video here. Shadow would come along with a music pack, and boy would it be a good one. The iconic Live and Learn is already present in Smash Ultimate, so I'll name a song that could come up with Shadow. I'll play a few seconds of each song here. I Am All of Me. Never Turn Back. All Hail Shadow. Waking Up. This Machine. The Chosen One. And WESTOPOLIS. Now, that would be a pack. Of course, you could always add much more, but those are some of my favorites for Shadow. And ending the music packs there puts an end to this video today. Shadow is one of my all-time favorite gaming characters, and I always wanted to see him join the Smash roster. I love his personality, I love his games, and I love his story. Even though he's an assist trophy and will probably stay that way forever, it's still fun to think about him being playable. Thank you for imagining all this with me. This is my very first crack at a moveset, so let me know what you think in the comments. Is there something I left out that you think should be in? Again, let me know down below. I would absolutely love to talk about it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here and enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. This is Talking Games with Kyle, and this has been Imagining Shadow the Hedgehog in Smash Ultimate.